The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Sports Collective Media and Morris Media Studios present Sports Collective TV. On today's lineup, what a weekend during the week with Russell Westbrook getting into an altercation with the fan. What he said, we'll go ahead and talk about that. And as well, Odell Beckham now has a new team. Welcome to Cleveland, Odell. We're going to go ahead and talk about his move there as well. March Madness begins tomorrow night. Duke gets the number one seed in the Eastern Conference there. Will Duke take it all this year with Zion Williamson? We'll go ahead and talk about that. And today's show, we got a very special guest in Joe Hawley here, and as well, this show is brought to you by AskIlya.com. Got a question? Ask Ilya at AskIlya.com. And guess what? Sports Collective TV starts right about now.
Shout out to
Truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
Where you at?
In the back.
In the back. Getting it in. Microphone's hot back there. Welcome to Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator, Ferran KWDC. I want to thank you for listening to Sports Collective TV right here on Morris Media. 5 o'clock, Mondays, Pacific Standard Time. Somebody couldn't say Pacific at one point, but it's cool. You got it down now?
Pacific. You got to be able to say it if you're living in the West Coast.
Exactly.
That's why they gave you alternate vocabulary for words you can't say. So, you know.
It works.
Yeah, it works.
What do you call the ocean to the east of us?
Atlantic.
In the west?
He can't say it. He can't say it. If you've been checking his social media, you've seen that we got a guest calling in. I mean, to me, I was excited that he agreed to my conversation. So we got Joe Hawley calling in a few seconds. But we got, as the Truth mentioned, all the NFL topics, the basketball.
Right.
Cali Sportsman over here is heated about the March Madness. College basketball. So we got a lot. We got Don calling in, who's not in the deck with us today. He's going to call in and chime in on that basketball segment as well. So let's go around the deck, man, and just reintroduce yourself.
Well, you already know it's Double O here, bringing you more than X's and O's. We got a lot to talk about today. All these moves that are happening in the NFL, a lot of shuffling of players, and also we'll get into some Champions League. Big surprises, big comebacks. We'll get into that as well. And as Ferran said, we will also get into some March Madness. We are hours away before the madness begins.
Nah, I think the madness already started. Yeah, it's just Cali Sportsman. My boy, Al, boy. We could never be roommates, man. I'm over here? Okay. I was pointing. I'm like, we directing traffic. So, okay. But Al, we got it. I can't wait till the March Madness startup.
Ooh, stay tuned for that.
But we here at Morris Media Studios, and we always want to give love to the studio here. And if you're looking for an opportunity to get that professional content out there, Morris Media Live, go to that website, MorrisMediaLive.com. Check it out. Of course, any media needs that's beyond any reach of your own and got questions, feel free to
ask.
Go to AskIlya.com.
You already know.
Yeah, as they call me, the Cali Sportsman. Sports is all about development. So to be continued, because March Madness is where it's really at and what it's all about in this whole basketball piece. But we got foreign people from another world who has a different point of view. And that's what makes sports great, because everybody has a different point of view. So my foreign partner next to me, Big Al, let him know.
That's cool. This is Big Al here. What an intro that was. Yeah, we have a great show planned for you today. Interested to talk some NFL, all these new trade and signings with our guest Joe Hawley. Definitely some heated March Madness in the segment later. We're going to have our boy Don calling in. And, Champions League just had the draw in Switzerland for the quarterfinals, so definitely looking to talk about that.
All right.
A lot happening today on SCTV, so make sure you stay tuned.
So we're going to take this break, or we got some...
Well, what's STTV?
SCTV.
Sports Collective TV.
Oh, okay. I'm just like, y'all be getting these anime. Okay, hey.
It's just you took the first letter
Okay.
of every word.
Well, we don't want
Collective
we don't
TV.
want to talk about these kids right now. If you got
Yeah, that's
15,000,
another
you can get your SATs changed.
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
nother show.
Yeah.
You got 15 stacks?
Well,
We got a
that's what
segment
gets you
about
into
that.
this school right here, right?
Before we go to break, then if you don't have 15 stacks, then you need to let them know about the
The OVN Classic.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Okay. So it's going to be our 4th annual. For those of you who have followed us over the years, we're going to be doing it again in Staples. Right now, we're organizing. We just started our scrimmages. Definitely follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter
What's the handle?
at OVN Classic. We'll be posting all our stuff on there. And if you need more information on how to buy some of these fundraiser tickets that we're selling, please you will find the information on there.
Give
us
them
a
a
shout
phone
out.
number. Just give them a phone number so that they just know where
All
to call.
323-333-3511.
One more time.
323-333-3511.
One more time.
323-333-3511.
7779311. No. All right, we're going to take this first break and bring our guests on the line. Again, this is Sports Collective TV. Again, you want more information about sickle cell trait, WDCONSCT.org. Shout us out. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too,
man,
bro.
that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. You know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. All right, welcome back to Sports Collective TV. I'm your host and moderator, Farhan, aka WDC. Again, thank you for listening in. We got our first guest on the line. Joe Hawley is on the line. Are you there, sir?
Yeah, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, thank you.
good.
We're doing good.
Thanks for coming on.
So, just
appreciate it.
so the listeners can know, I'm a retired Army veteran, 24 years, and I run my advocacy work program. But I have this little desire to just pack up my house, man, and just get a little mobile home and just take off and just travel the country. And I seen his story, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!" Like, I'm not the only one that thinks like that. And so I saw, his football career. I saw he adopted the dog and just sold, living off minimal, quality of life things, and got his van and took off. So, Joe, man, thank you for taking time out of your schedule, man, to call in on the show, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. It's I feel like it's something that a lot of people think about doing and never really pull the trigger, and I'm blessed enough to have the opportunity to do it, and I'm living it, and I'm having a blast doing it, man.
So bring us back to that decision. When and what brought you to decide to embark on that lifestyle?
I was, coming to an end of my career, made a decision that football was something that wasn't making me happy anymore. I lost the love for the game. I didn't want to play for a paycheck anymore. My body was just beat up. So I decided that I wanted to retire and walk away from the game. And I started getting stressed out about what I wanted to do next. Obviously had a lot of opportunities. I have a lot of ideas with, like, starting a business. And then I kind of took a step back, and I was like, you know what, this is the time. I worked hard to kind of, like, enjoy the fruits of my labor. So I decided, you know what, how about, I have a unique opportunity to take a break before trying to figure out what's next and go travel the country and enjoy myself. And, the trip kind of evolved into something a lot more, and now I'm actually going to hit the road again. I've been in Tampa for the last couple of months, kind of reorganizing it all, and it's been wintertime and cold everywhere, and once it warms up, I'm going to hit the road again. And I don't really know where the road's leading me, but I'm enjoying the process and having a blast doing it.
Oh, that's awesome.
In traveling, is there like a place you went to that stands out? I mean, playing in the, as being an ex-player and, having that story, is there a place you went and had ice cream? Is there just one special place that out of your travels that kind of just brings up to mind that, or a need in a community that you just thought was really need, or, anything like that at all?
Like in the last year, you talking about when I took the trip?
Yeah.
What blew my mind is how many beautiful places we have in our own country, like our own backyard. A lot of people never really venture out of their own little bubble. But there's so many beautiful places. Like, we have one of the best national park systems in the whole world. A lot of good public land, especially on the West Coast. And, like, there's these beautiful places like the Grand Tetons, anything up in Wyoming, Glacier National Park, the Grand Canyon. Like, these are places that if you stand and just look at them, like, they blow your mind. And so that's kind of why I like sharing the experience and sharing, with people that if you just take a little road trip, there's usually something right in your own backyard that can go blow your mind and really help you experience something bigger, you know?
That's for real. Especially even in California. When I took my motorcycle ride last year and we went up toward Eureka, it was like it was in a whole nother part of the country.
I know. We were just talking about that. I just traveled from Southern California to Clear Lake, 8-hour drive, and we had like 5 different weather conditions. So
yeah, it's a very diverse country too. There's a lot of different, like, there's deserts, there's forests, there's lakes, there's cliffs, there's deserts, mountains. It's nuts.
Joe, I have a question. Any time in life, transitions are, it can be difficult. What was the hardest or the most difficult thing, I guess, leaving from your past life as a professional football player and now as a more free, traveling individual?
That's one thing that this trip's really helped me is, like, I had this question of like, who am I without football? I mean, I played football for 16 years since I was in high school, and it's always been my dream to make it to the NFL, and I made that dream a reality, and I'm so grateful for that. But I started getting to a point where I lost the love for the game, and I was like, you know what? What's my next dream? Like, what else is going to make me happy? And so I didn't really know what that was. And so hitting the road and having the ability to kind of go search and travel and kind of do some soul searching and trying different things out, I've learned that happiness is an inside job. There's not really a lot of external things that should give you validation. Like, if you can be happy on the inside and do the work, then the world kind of, takes care of itself.
Hey, Joe, what was the process of choosing the animal?
Oh, you got a little buddy there, right?
Yeah, I knew I wanted to bring a travel companion on the road with me. I knew the road might be a lonely place, so I went to a shelter a few different times. And I'm a big gut intuition guy. I feel, my feelings about the situation, and so I went there. And nothing really felt right. I went there a few different times, and I finally came across Freedom, and she was in a cage, curled up, sulking, really just not happy to be there. And for some reason, I just knew that she would be grateful to get out of that cage, and I decided to take her. I didn't even really ask a lot of questions. It just felt right. And I was like, you know what? I'll take this dog. And she's been showing me, what gratitude's all about ever since I got her. She loves being on the road. She's a perfect companion, and it's crazy how it works out if you just trust your feelings and trust your gut.
Yeah, I know you said that you lost some love for the game. Are you open to express what was that loss like? I mean, what was your reasons and considerations based off of your football career?
Yeah, I mean, football is just a hard sport, man. It's constant stress. You're putting your body grinding every day. It's not a during the season and you get the it's constant grind physically to be at the best you can possibly be. You're always constantly being judged. You can get replaced at any second, so there's that pressure and that stress and that judgment. It's just really, really hard. And I was waking up not happy. My body's, I mean, obviously you age really quickly. Like I'm 30, but my knees, like when I woke up in the morning to go to work, like I could barely walk.
Yeah.
And I had to do this stuff to take care of my body. And, you know, luckily I was able to make a little bit of money and save that money. And obviously it's not like a crazy amount that I could have made. Like I could keep playing and grinding, but I made the decision where, you know what, like I'm happy. I don't need a lot of stuff to be happy. I got a good amount of money in the bank account. Like what else can I accomplish in this life? Like I'm ready for something new. And so I made that decision. I feel like a lot of people, you know, I've always been, like football is always something I did and it's not who I was. And I think a lot of athletes get lost in that identity. And even me, like I felt like I had my head on straight. And even when I was done playing and I was ready for it and I like walked away on my own terms, like I still had to fill that void. And so, you know, going out and traveling has really helped me. And now I've started my own business now. It's this nut butter company. Our first product's coming in about a month.
Okay.
It's livesimple.com if you guys want to check it out. No E. So it's like all these other opportunities are kind of presenting themselves now, and I'm starting to find new purpose in different things.
You went from the Ford to the Sprinter, man. How did you upgrade like that?
Yeah, so my Ford was a really badass van. It was a pop top. I loved it. When I first took off, it was almost a year ago exactly. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea. I just got the van and I kind of, you know, put some money into it, upgraded it. I got a trailer and I got everything I thought I could possibly need on the road, but never really actually experienced what it would be like to live on the road. I kind of just went for it. And so after that I traveled for like 8 months before I took a break. And now that I've been on the road, I knew exactly what I wanted, what I needed, what I used the most of. And so I found this new van that's just a lot more comfortable. It's got a full queen-size bed in the back.
Yeah.
I don't have a trailer anymore. It's got better storage. It's got a little kitchen on the inside. So there's like less setup, so I can do a little more stealth camping. And it's just going to be a completely different experience this year. I'm really excited about it.
Hey, Joe, with all the traveling and your buddy comes a blog that you're doing, right? The Man Van Dog blog?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so when I decided to hit the road, I thought it was kind of my responsibility to share the experience. You know, a lot of people, maybe not with football, obviously, but people that are in jobs that they're doing it for a paycheck and they're miserable and they're unhappy. And you know, I wanted to share the experience with them. Maybe they're help them, inspire them to maybe make a change if they're ready for transition, or maybe just showing people that there's beautiful places to see right in our own backyard and to travel more and to live with less so they can experience more. That's kind of my mantra. And so I decided to share it. I had no idea what I was doing with that either, but I just knew that social media was an opportunity. And started sharing the pictures, and I started getting a lot of positive feedback and a lot of people reaching out, telling me how I inspired them. And so that kind of renewed my purpose, and that's why I decided to continue this journey and continue to try and have a bigger impact with people, because it is really having a positive influence on the world, and that really makes me, you know, excited.
How do you go about mapping out, you know, what direction you're going to go or what you want to see or how long you're going to be gone, or how's that mapped out for you?
Yeah, I don't really plan it too much. I kind of let it come to me. I kind of know little spots that I want to get to, and I'll slowly head that way, and then I kind of leave it open that if I meet some people and, like, want to spend extra time somewhere, I'll do it, or some places, like, you know, extremely beautiful. Like last year, there was a point where, like, 3 weeks, I knew I needed to be, I was in San Francisco, and I knew I needed to be in Denver, Colorado, meet my buddies for a bachelor party. We were going to go rafting for a weekend. And so I knew I had to make it that way, so I had 3 weeks, so I kind of just started heading that direction. And it's like, I ended up staying with one of my buddies in San Fran, and then his cousin, who I have no idea who they were, he's like, you can stay with my cousin in Nevada City, so I went to stay with them for a couple of days. And then they recommended this campsite in Wyoming, so I went up there. And then from there, I made it like all the way down to Colorado. So it's kind of just, you don't want to plan too much. You kind of let the world come to you, and that's just a great way to experience it.
You know, Joe, I was telling some of my friends, you know, my idea was to take off and go visit each basketball arena and how long that would take me. And so I see that you've been traveling and going to the baseball game. So are you have a certain amount of you're going to attend, or are you just going as you go to the different states?
Yeah, I mean, it's just as I'm going to different cities, there's obviously different ballparks that I really want to see. But, yeah, I think I saw 12 or 13 stadiums last year, and this year I'm going to head up the East Coast to start. And when the spring starts, there's going to be a lot of baseball. So I plan on going up to Washington, Baltimore, New York, Boston, and then just visiting all these different stadiums. I don't really have a number in mind, but, I mean, if I visit them all, that'd be pretty cool.
That's cool, man.
So you had mentioned earlier, Joe, about, kind of repurposing yourself. What's something that you have over the last year discovered about yourself that you really didn't know about yourself, in this new free world that you're living?
I realized that, like, the fastest way to grow for anybody is to get outside your comfort zone. And every time I'd go somewhere new, there'd be times when I wasn't comfortable, like, I wanted to leave, or I wouldn't know anybody, and I was like, you know what, like, this is what the trip's about. And every time I pushed myself and leaned into those uncomfortable moments, I figured out what I was made of, who I was, and it always ended up being a crazy cool experience. And so I learned, like, continue to get outside your comfort zone, and that's where you grow the fastest, and that will usually put you on your purpose in life to find out where you're supposed to be going.
It kind of must sound like through this journey, I forecast you being some coach somewhere, mentoring this experience, because I'm almost getting a little teary-eyed sitting here. So, but that's
I've learned a lot, man, and I've been reading a lot and just learning a lot, and definitely don't know, like, where this is going to lead, but I know it's providing a lot of opportunities to help people. And I went to this public speaking seminar like last week that the NFL puts on, so I'm going to try and learn how to public speak a little bit better and be more comfortable. And that's another thing, getting outside your comfort zone, because if you asked me 5 years ago if I would be a public speaker, like, I would have told you, like, hell no, like, that's like my biggest fear. But, like, it's kind of like I'm living it, like, I'm leaning into my fears, I'm learning how to do it, and that's where I'm finding purpose. So it's kind of crazy. It's like where your growth happens,
For real. Hey, before we let you go, man, again, I was checking out some of your videos. How do you deal with that clutter, man, in that van?
Oh, man, that's the biggest thing. Like, the van is such a small space. Like, if you just one day, like, don't pick something up, it gets dirty in a hurry. And just like your house, if your house is dirty, you feel, like, cluttered and stressed out. So you just got to keep it organized. But it happens quick, so you got to stay on top of it for sure.
For sure. You guys...
Yeah, I don't know, with all the moves that have been going on in this NFL offseason, I don't know how much you followed it. Is there any move that strikes you that you think made a team tremendously better, or you think is the best so far?
Oh, man, I'm going to be honest, I haven't kept up with all of them. I know one of my ex-teammates, Adam Humphries, got paid in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
Like $9 million a year, and my whole take on that is crazy, because he was our fifth option.
Wow.
Getting paid $9 million a year, and 5 years ago, the number one receiver in the league was getting $9 million a year. Well, like, Julio Jones would have got $9 million. So this guy is a fifth option. He's a great player, but I'm just like, these contracts are getting so crazy big now, and they're handing out money like crazy.
Does it make you want to come back?
Oh, man, I did my time.
He's like, not enough.
That's like me. I'm not. You couldn't get me back in the military if you paid me to. No, I'm good.
I wish I was making that kind of money, but right now, like, I just done got it,
Oh. But at this point in your life, you're like, it's already passed.
Yeah, I got plenty of opportunities now. I'll be fine.
There you go.
Is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers know, or the people out here in California?
Yeah, if you'd like to support me, you can follow me. I'm really active on Instagram. That's the social platform I use most to communicate with people. If you want to reach out, it's Man Van Dog Blog. I have a YouTube channel, Man Van Dog Blog. You can go to my website, manvandogblog.com. I got merchandise on there if you want to help support my trip. And then I'm starting this new nut butter company. It's a really healthy product. LiveSimple.com with no E, so SIMPL.com. Go check that out. We have pre-sale up, and if you want to support my trip, that's a good way to do it as well.
Oh, excellent. Thanks. We'll go check that out.
Hey, Joe, man, as soon as I get a break, man, I'm coming out on the road, man. I'm coming.
I'll see you out there, buddy. I'll see you out there.
All right, man. Hey, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Yeah, and like I said, you're definitely an inspiration to having people, discover themselves and just realize that sometimes it's just stuff, and we get attached to that stuff. And so it's cool, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
I'm going to Goodwill.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Getting rid of everything.
No, but just like last year or so, about maybe 2 years ago, I realized that it's just stuff. Like, you just got so much stuff in your house. You haven't touched it in 5 years.
I felt that way this weekend.
Yeah.
Because we had the e-waste and the shredding. And you just got all this old paper and old computers and
All right.
Man, you just listened to ex-NFL player Joe Hawley live here on Sports Collective TV. We got a lot more to talk about. Our main man, Don, coming with his NCAA bracket analysis. We know we're going to want to hear what Cali Sportsman has to say about that, too. We got some NBA coming, some Champions League, and a little bit of NFL, and then a very special community piece at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. This is Sports Collective TV live in Crenshaw.
The Consortium of Health and Military Performance, also known as CHAMP, of the Uniformed Services University of Health and Science, known as USUHS, is conducting a study to understand a possible genetic link between sickle cell trait, known as SCT, and exercise-related events, known as EREs, such as exertional rhabdomyolysis, muscle damage, heat stroke, and or collapse. We are inviting African American men and women with sickle cell trait and their family members to participate. Participating in the study will require you to complete a health history questionnaire, a form authorizing our study physician to gather health information from you and your healthcare provider, as well as a one-time blood donation. In order to qualify for the study, you must meet the following criteria: be African American, be sickle cell trait positive, be able to read, speak, and understand English, be between the ages of 18 and 80, and currently not being treated for any mental or psychological disorders. Participation is completely voluntary, and your decision will not impact your healthcare. The results for this study are for research purposes only and are not intended to directly benefit any individual for confidentiality reasons. However, the results of this study are intended to help better shape policies and associated health risks affecting the SCT community. Participants may be compensated for their time. To join the study, or if you would like additional information regarding the study, please contact the study team by phone, area code 240-479-9514, or email sctstudy-ggg@usuhs.edu.
No, but I'm saying
Welcome back to Sports Collective TV. We just had NFL player Joe Hawley on the line, and that's going to segue us right into some NFL. If you want to join the conversation, 323-293-3375. But boy, guys, so much happening.
Struggling. I got you for football and you for basketball. I feel like I'm Spence right now, just jabbing this weekend. Was that the worst fight ever?
Oh, man, and it was at Cowboy Stadium, so they try to book this 100. Like who?
I think everybody. It was like a BT Awards or something. I mean, it's like the fight itself. It was like this guy had an opportunity to throw every punch in his bag.
Nobody wanted it. It's like they didn't want to hurt each other. Like just get our bags and just play a nice jab fest.
Speaking of the Cowboys, they lost out on some defensive linemen this year. Notably, one person who made it to the media attacking others, talking about the overuse of supplements in the NFL. But
while smoking a blunt. He did it while smoking a blunt.
Some of the other teams that actually did make some good moves, the Cleveland Browns guys signed Odell Beckham Jr.
Traded for
Odell
Beckham
Jr. as well as Jarvis Landry.
But, I mean, in that trade, he got a quarterback to get them involved. I mean,
he's got Baker now.
But once again,
but I'm just saying, dude. As y'all know, receivers and quarterbacks have a chemistry going into the Raiders situation.
Right.
Dude, it's a good trade.
Right.
They have nobody. You got to get somebody.
Well, that's what I was thinking more like when you look at what Cleveland
got to sell seats.
I like the trade for the Raiders.
Okay, all right, cool.
I don't know. I feel like we're arguing. We like this.
I thought you was I'm like, that's a good trade.
No, I'm saying
both of them were good.
Well, I think this makes the Raider trade look even better. They gave up less, and they still got. All right, yes, he's older, but Brown is still going to perform at Pro Bowl level, I believe.
Exactly, but you got also crybaby receivers that need good quarterbacks to get them the ball. And you got they both crybabies. Y'all know that. Y'all have seen it all in the media.
Right.
You know they want to be. It's just really because they want to be the best.
Right.
And I get that. But at the same token, that chemistry. I'm just hoping that the chemistry with the receivers and those trades work out with the quarterback.
Absolutely. Another thing to note with the Browns, too, is not only do they have a lot of receivers that need the ball, they got Kareem Hunt as well. They got a bunch of players that need this ball with a rookie coach and a lot of ego there. So I don't know.
I'm calling it. They're taking the AFC North. Sorry to the Steelers, but the Browns are taking it. With Odell, you pair Odell with his buddy Jarvis Landry.
It's a problem.
You got Baker Mayfield. You got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt coming back after 8 games.
They got a double header a running back, and they got all these options.
Yeah.
Only thing in front of them is just injury. That's all.
That's it. Right now, this is like what when the young guys are like, oh man, like
if I could play with my, like, all right, this is it. The Browns did it. They traded who they had to trade. They got a bunch of you young guys together. Ball out. Show the league that, your Ben Roethlisbergers, your Eli Mannings, that ain't it no more. It's going to be like, now we're going to show you how to do it. And
it'd be interesting to see what happens with Brady this next year, though.
He's still gonna make it to the AFC Championship. Watch.
Yeah, he will. Brady. There's one thing is always certain. One thing's always certain.
I don't know who's gonna face him.
Could be his cousin or something. Y'all both have the same kind of like long hair and all that.
Brady.
So
Brady's not. So he's Swiss?
I'll take that. No. Roethlisberger is Swiss.
Oh, you guys can have Roethlisberger.
but going back to the Giants, they did the same thing. They kept Manning, who a lot of us felt was the problem in that offense, and they traded away their star receiver.
Yeah, Saquon is looking like, man.
But I mean, you still have Manning throwing the ball.
We got to think Manning is like a pair.
They still have Sterling Shepard. They have some offensive pieces.
Okay, yes. Where are you going with this, Levi Jeans?
So Manning is like a pair of Levi jeans. He's a name brand. You know what I'm saying? May not perform like everybody else would, but it's no customization to him as a Manning.
It's
you know what I'm saying?
He's reliable.
He was the one that probably should have played golf or something.
2 Super Bowls. He got him 2 Super Bowls.
He beat Tom Brady 2 times in the Super Bowl.
That's somebody nobody's ever done.
His legacy.
Okay, I give you that. Kind of good.
He's kind of good.
Part of a legacy.
Like Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. He's kind of good,
But take those 2 years out, and he's nothing better than a backup quarterback.
He's not. No,
come on.
He put up numbers some years. He put up numbers.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, got something going on.
Oh, we got a caller.
Oh, we got a caller. Oh, is that?
And with that, we are going to switch topics actually to the NCAA March Madness college basketball because we have a very special person on the line. Our own man, Don from P4E. How's it going, man?
What's up, guys?
Oh,
Sorry I couldn't make it in there in person, but yeah. Like I told Ferran, it's one of those days.
No worries, no worries. It's good to have you on. A little different style of segment, so we're interested for that, man.
This style of segment comes by problems, Don. I need your help here. I have a young man who don't understand.
He needs help, Don.
The understanding and the premise of college basketball. So here's a guy from another world, as he said earlier.
Never went to college.
Never went to college. Don't even know how to read or write that good. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about that.
Luckily, they got that caption stuff that when you can type in a couple of letters and it figures out the word. So he has that on his phone.
And we got affirmative action here, so that's how I say it.
So hold up. I got to tell the story. So he comes in and he talks about pros and have a disregard for college players because he feels that he has an opinion about them being paid or being compensated. And my thing is that they're a student athlete. They're there to get a college education. His battle was, well, they don't really get an education. And then the NBA. And I was like, you don't get it, bro. I mean, you got to go back. Before you can get to the NBA, these kids started from somewhere. A high school, an AAU squad, a college, and then the pros. So it's only 1%, 2% of kids that even have the potential to go from high school to the pros. And you only see that. You see the Kobe. You see the it's only 1 or 2, 3 players in the league that's like that. It's not like it's an abundant amount of kids because they're still learning how to dribble like you.
But that's the reason why they should be getting paid in college because not a lot of them go to the pros.
He's over there laughing. Big Al's just laughing.
How much time is invested?
So what exactly is the conversation about?
The conversation, it was basic. I think, Don, we know the bracket.
The question?
You know the question. It's not an Ask Ilias situation. This is a statement. A statement is that you have to show homage to the basketball kids of America, Division I, Division II, Division III, JUCOs are all playing for their school. They're playing for, it's a bit different pride. It has nothing to do with money. Yeah. It has nothing to do with NBA.
Zion Williamson is the perfect example. He is risking millions of dollars because he loves playing with his buddies and playing for Duke and going for a championship, which who knows if he'll ever have a chance to play for a championship again.
Thank you. So, there's a God.
And that's what the college life is about. He's getting a lot of pushback because he's doing this, but it's his life. And it's something that he can't go back and, let me play for Duke next year. After he goes to the NBA, that's not going to happen.
And I was also just kind of saying that it's a culture. Basketball is a culture. Where you go play is a culture. Who you play with, who you play against. All these pieces come together before you get to the NBA. That's all I was meaning.
These are relationships that you'll have for the rest of your life.
No, absolutely.
Experiences that you'll have.
That's true, and there's no other country to where the educational sports system is as developed and as professionally done as out here. So that's definitely something to.
There's a lot of issues with the NBA doing the one and done that they're going to get rid of soon, and that will even make it more the NCAA even better.
That's right.
Because it'll be the longer term players, like the mid majors. They have all the older guys. That's how they can upset players. Duke used to be a team that you were lucky to get a guy coming out as a junior, even if they could go earlier. But now they're all the one and done. So once the one and dones are done, the NCAA basketball is going to be at a whole nother level altogether. So that's my point on that. And whoever doesn't discount NCAA sports, we got problems.
That's right. So we got March Madness starting off tomorrow, man. Are there any of the games tomorrow you say is a must-watch or something we got to follow?
Anything in the tournament is a must-watch. But
thank you. Hold up, Don. Hold up.
I mean, come on, man.
It's just March Madness.
Here.
All the games is important. If you win, you go home. You lose, you go home.
That's why,
they play for a whole different level, man. It's not. That's earphone
these are
things.
Playing games tomorrow. So the playing games are going to be. They got to play this. They got to win this game just to be a part of the 64 team.
Right. It's like when I whoop you, you ain't gonna be able to play me again. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
A couple years ago,
you either get one chance to win.
Syracuse
and it's happening soon.
And they ended up making it to the final, the Elite Eight. So there is teams. There's going to be future NBA players playing in these games, these 4 games. So this is just the start of madness. That's why it's called March Madness. The best 2-3 weeks of sports of the year.
So I like Gonzaga. I'm taking Gonzaga in the West.
Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonzaga is the best coach team in NCAA basketball.
Let's go through everybody's picks for the West. Would you go with Gonzaga as well, Don, on that one?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Texas Tech will be a problem for them, and
Smart.
Nevada, whoever wins Nevada, Texas Tech, Nevada has like 5 dudes that are 23 years old, so they got grown men playing against boys.
Yeah.
And Texas Tech is they've come out of nowhere this year, but Gonzaga, they've already beat Duke with Zion this year. So, and Mark Hughes, one of the best top 3 coaches in the NCAA. So they're going to definitely make it out of the West, and they'll probably play Duke coming out of the East in the Final Four, a rematch of a game earlier this year.
Who you got coming out of the South?
The South, I got Tennessee. I think that's the worst bracket. There's no top squad in this bracket. Virginia's they're the only team to ever lose to a 16 seed.
I have Virginia losing in the second round, Don.
I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I have them going a little bit farther, but because
they was a sleeper 2 years ago.
Yeah, they're not very good.
They were on the wrong side last year.
Yeah, the way they play is just slow and boring. And but yeah, I have Tennessee making it out of default pretty much. And then I have North Carolina making it out of the Midwest.
Yeah, there's some good picks. It's just interesting not to see like the Kansas State, the Villanova, the Purdue's. Those, they dominated the whole March Madness for many, many years because of money and because of a lot of reasons that you were talking about earlier. So what happens is the competition changes because you can get some of these sleeper schools that have a great coach that's all the kids are bought in. They're all trying to get to another level for another reason. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to beat these big brand name schools because, it means a lot.
Kentucky's falling off. Kansas falling off a little bit. Villanova fell off. They've had a lot of guys graduate. They're one of those guys they don't have the one and done. So once they go through their 3 to 4 years, once Josh Hart left and the dudes that won the championship, Brunson, once those dudes graduate, they have to go through a whole other cycle. So in 2 to 3 years, they're going to be good again. But like Duke, they could just recycle. They got 3 of the top 6 picks in the NBA this year. All are freshmen, starting lineup.
So
Duke, North Carolina are my picks to make it to the championship, and it's a coin flip because Duke has the best talent, but no depth and shooting. North Carolina has more talent, deeper, but they don't have the top depth. So,
I was really impressed with Texas Tech this year, though. They was
they're solid. They
was a good school to watch.
They haven't been good.
We have no
5-6 years.
We have no Southern California team in this.
The Pac-12 is trash.
But
they've been trash since they become Pac-12.
I do have a soft spot for UC Irvine, just because it's kind of and hey, it's not crazy. It's not crazy to think that they would beat a Kansas State team that isn't really good offensively.
They played them last year also, and that's one.
They haven't lost since January 16th, even though they haven't played anyone, but that builds up your confidence for one game. You're a 13 seed. This is your championship game right here.
Yeah, with all the coaching problems in the West, when you look at the big teams have been Arizona and U of A. Those are kind of one of the big programs on the West that just been disrupted for the last 2 seasons. So you don't see that. Of course, UCLA, new coach.
Transitioning,
a lot of undeveloped players. So, but that's what makes it interesting. That's to give the mix because when you actually look at what I was looking at here, like Virginia Tech, or say even VCU 2 seasons ago, VCU was like
darling,
and that's in Richmond, Virginia, a little small town. So.
I like UC Irvine beating Kansas State. They're UC Irvine's probably the hottest team in the whole bracket as far as like winning 16 in a row, but. Hey, everybody! The player to watch is Murray State.
Murray State, John Morant. What's
the first time ever someone to get 20 and 10? I couldn't believe that. Since like 1985, there's been no one else that's get 20 points, 10 assists, and he's going to be a top 3 pick this year. So even if you're NBA fans, you should be watching players like that.
So
the first point guard pick.
So I wanted to just kind of let you know, Al, since you don't really watch the March Madness or know very much about it, is that it used to be a time when the score would be like 30-40, right? And then there was, now we're looking at kids that's getting up to 100 points. So that's just letting you know that the development of the game has changed to so high level. And then what's emulated from March Madness is that you will see that from March Madness season to March Madness season, you might have the Stephen Curry game, you might have the inside game, and all coaches kind of follow suit. And then what happens is that kind of emulates in the NBA because it becomes a style and a culture that season. So because these players have played in what they consider the system. So before you get to the NBA, you got to just step a little back.
And the fact that these points are going up is causing what to happen? Is getting more viewers, which is getting more sponsorship, which is getting more money, and these players are not getting anything better for them, right?
Yes.
So once again, so there's more money going into the NCAA, but it's not getting recycled back to the people that are actually.
They can play in the G League and be homeless in their car. You know what I'm saying? Or they can go play at one of these major schools, and basically they got room, board, food, a pair of shoes, a warm ups, a shower.
While Coach K is getting paid $10 million a year.
But you got to get what you got to get, man. Hopefully you get a degree so you can raise your family.
I got Duke winning.
Hopefully you can just sign a sneaker deal somewhere if the league would allow you to.
Well, 2% of the population will. The rest will have to figure out a different.
We got the worldwide internet. You could probably create your own shoe and just go start selling it off eBay. You know what I mean? Come on. You don't even know.
Zion could do that right now if he wanted to.
Exactly. Because especially after the commercial with Nike, he could just go create his own shoe. And I'm quite sure every kid in AAU program
outliers.
is going
We're
to go
talking
buy
about
a shoe.
outliers here. The masses, though, are struggling. I'm just saying, we're talking about extreme players, the ones that do have all this attention, but the rest of the college players, the ones that aren't making it to the NBA, the ones that, put as much work as any of these players, like you said, now if they haven't invested in education, all right, they're going to be struggling in that transition. And so,
but we could do we could do a whole show, multiple shows on that topic.
Yeah, man, this is March Madness, dude. Come on, man. This is the funnest time of the year. Y'all bumming me out and shit. Like,
we're gonna get into this more.
It's the dude from the other world. It's Mr. Al from
March
the other
Madness.
world.
It's like Cinderella stories.
I get it.
It's kids.
I'm gonna pay for Al's cable this week.
The wonderful thing about March Madness is like you have like teams that come out of nowhere. Exactly. That these kids are never going to make it to the pros. They're not going to play overseas. If there was a G League, they can't make it to the G League, you know. And this is what they're known for. This is going to be it, you know.
This is it.
And these fools want to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm mad.
No. I'm just saying.
It's March Madness. It's like one of the funnest times of the year.
But we're just giving our position as to why we don't support NCAA sports. Going back to March Madness,
we're talking about it. You're sitting up here talking about
it.
You
need to get off then.
Yeah. Boycott. Vito. Come on.
I don't watch NFL.
Come on, Kaepernick. Come on, Kaepernick.
Hey, it's the same thing with the NFL.
I don't support
It's the same thing with the NFL. You can enjoy watching football without
does not pay the labor force. They do not pay.
They provide an education.
The labor force doesn't have to pay to go to the school.
What you mean? What education? They go into major universities. They got to go to class. They got a regiment. For someone who's never been to college, you go with a backpack every day, and you go to this one ain't.
Wow.
So,
do they have colleges in Switzerland now?
No, they all just get out early just to go work on the farm. I don't know what y'all doing, but. Here, they getting a quality education. So if they complete their education opportunity...
Really, because there's been so many scandals around athletes not getting quality education.
That's a small percentage of the ones that's
playing ball.
But we focus on this...
Okay, but now we also focus on the small percentage that do make it successful.
All right, Don is on the phone. Then let's put it like this. He said there's a lot of one and outs, right? Take the one and outs, and then what happens to them? They become NBA players. Yeah. So there you go. That's the ones who's getting paid. The other ones that still got to dribble more, and they got to learn more. But what they got to be mature.
At the end of the day, you're talking about a structure that's a nonprofit. So that means that they have to take their funds and allocate them, and they convince themselves every day that these players should not have any allocation of these funds. Right,
but yet they want to take the air out of his bunk bed. All right, just take the air out. I'm
just saying. Is how do you convince yourself the people that attract? These are people that allocate the funds, the ones that make the decision on how to budget.
Ain't nobody twisting no kid's arm to come play basketball for them. They giving them an opportunity when they have no opportunity possible.
Hey, Oscar, you're
Jesus, man, this has got.
I'm just saying.
Al started it.
I know you're just saying.
Al started it.
I started exactly nothing. This is Sports Collective TV. Don, do you have anything to say before we let you go?
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, and yeah, love you.
Say that again?
We're crazy.
No, I just said you're all crazy.
Oh, okay.
You're part of us.
You heard it first.
Yeah. You crazy too, Dad.
You heard it first here on Sports Collective TV. Join the conversation by calling 232-293-3375. We'll be right back with some NBA, some Champions League, and a special community piece as an outro. Thanks so much, Don, and make sure you check out March Madness starting tomorrow.
We should have a debate on that.
Quick break.
Sponsored by
AskElliot.com. Media marketing experts here to help you grow your business into the next level and boost your sales. Visit us to learn more. AskElliot.com.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh, man, that shot was cold, man.
I hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn, are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. Do you know the facts that both parents have sickle cell trait? There's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org.
I'll fuck him up. He said, I promise you. See, I'm playing. I swear to God. I'll fuck you up. You and your wife. I'll fuck you up. No, fuck that. I promise you. Everything I love. Everything I love. I promise you.
Russell.
He'll fuck him up. That was Russell Westbrook at the Utah Jazz game not too long ago.
Double O's probably on the fan side.
Harassed by a fan. We don't hear much of what the fan says in the video.
Don't touch the mic.
However, it was said that the fan yelled out profanities and a couple of racial slurs directed at him too. Now, what happened is the NBA and the Utah Jazz investigated the incident. The Jazz organization banned the fan for life from coming to the arena. They had a whole investigation asking people who sat around him. They also looked into some of his social media where he posts a lot of very right-wing messages. He's a big Trump supporter. You know how they do out there in Utah and stuff. So he got fanned. But this raises a question around the league and by a lot of players. How does the NBA go about protecting their players and the fans, because there was wrong on both sides there.
It's called security guard. I mean, you can't really – people going to be people, you know what I mean? You can't protect everybody because somebody's, some sort of verbal abuse, but it's for the responsibility of the management at that arena to go address that person there who purchased a ticket, and also it's for the league. And it's really, I say beyond the league, it's that person too. I mean, he has to take some responsibility for the verbiage, because he can either just, if you want to be a man, you don't want to be disrespected, but at the same token, is what you say though. Everything I love, and you ain't got to go 2 and 10 because now it becomes a threat. Now they're feeling threat. So,
and like you said, we can't protect everyone. And I think the next game, the owner came out and publicly announced that this kind of behavior will not be tolerated. That if anyone is heard of saying these kind of things, that they also will find the same kind of consequences. So once again, communicating to people and saying, no, we will not support this, because at the end of the day, you cannot make the choices people will make. They're drinking, the energy in these games. Sometimes you know how we start yelling at the rivals, so things might get too emotional. But at the end of the day, people know now if this happens, if this verbiage happens, or you say these kind of things, expect these consequences.
And you got to also look at the fact that you're dealing with a basketball player, Al, that is not performing really well at all. So he might just be frustrated.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The last 6 games, he bonk.
I mean, you're going to get that from players being frustrated about calls, about them not playing well, about everything. But the player has to hold them back to a certain degree. I'm not saying Russell Westbrook wasn't justified in saying what he said. However, the profanity that he said was directed in a very threatening manner, and that just looks bad for business.
Okay,
for
well
the
then
NBA.
just twist it this way. Then you got the player that goes out of bounds and takes a shot at Jack, right? And then gets back on the court and plays basketball.
Mike Scott last night.
So these behaviors, drinking, we don't drink and drive, we can drink and play basketball. I mean, y'all seen that, right?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see if the NBA looks in to find that.
Less appropriate.
I feel like when it makes a highlight or a funny reel, the NBA doesn't go into finding that much, but that could very well be so. Before we end our show today here at Morris Media Studios, we got a little bit of a special community piece.
Well, unfortunately, our little community piece did not show up today, so we got to continue to just move forward, and hopefully they will show up. And just stay tuned because it's all about the community, and we're doing something in the community always. So stay tuned.
Absolutely.
But we could, if we have a little time, I wanted to touch more on how in other parts of the world this fan racialness goes to extremes. Like at soccer games, you see violence, right? Where you have seen, let's say, for instance, fans of color being attacked by people that are white, or slurred is not just at the players anymore. It transitions from that to just anyone that's a fan. And so these are things that you said the NBA probably already took notice of how sports can be, and trying to nip it at the bud is definitely something the NBA wants to have their owners enforce, moving forward. So,
right on.
Anything else you want to add to that?
No, man. I'm like completely.
But at least go with your final four.
No, I guess touch on that.
Okay. It's been teary-eyed today.
Man, I don't know. The Russell Westbrook thing, supposedly what the guy said to him is goes beyond just the scope of basketball. It wasn't like you effing suck, you haven't made a 3 all night. It was I would get down on your knees like you used to, and I think he threw in a boy at the end. So that is something that you could understand. Right. As a man, you take that shit to heart, and it's forget the fact that I'm a multi-million-dollar basketball player right now.
You wouldn't say that to me.
Millions in contracts.
You wouldn't say that to me outside.
No, so he's it's almost like he wants to square up with him right there, and it's you know that you're Russell Westbrook. People know that they're gonna get this out of you, and it's you kind of, I guess. You're giving them kind of what the reaction that they want. A right-wing fanatic is going to love that reaction. Look at this guy. He can't even compose yourself.
One little thing,
of course, yes, we as humans want to empathize and say man, that sucks. I would like to think that I wouldn't do that, but it's at the same time, when you have that multi-million-dollar contract, when you have all these sponsors, you have a certain responsibility to them, so you can't just use I guess you can't just use the I'm human excuse, because it's okay, no, there's consequences.
A lot on the line.
You're gonna ask for it now guess what happens next time some drunk white guy in Utah sees Russell Westbrook having a bad night and the Utah Jazz already lost.
And that goes to play. I mean, we'll really cross the board, just like what's going on at USC. Now these kids are not going to be able to get an education because their parents had enough money to put them in school, but now they're going to possibly be suspended from school and not even get an education and lose sponsors.
They might get sued.
Right. So it's all these pieces, it goes back into one little thing. It's character.
Character.
Right on. And that runs us out of time. This was Sports Collective TV. You can always give us a call at 323-293-3375. Thanks, Joe Haley, for coming in and or calling in, doing the interview. Thanks to our man Don for calling in and talking to us about NCAA. And we'll see you guys next Monday. What's the count?